Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you. Of course, we are pleased to be joined by the Olivet Athletic Director, as well as the Olivet Boys Basketball Coach, Matt Seidl. How's it going?
Good, Casey. How's it going with you, man?
It is going. You guys are off to a pretty hot start in your in the final year of your conference, and just talk about, because you've beaten some pretty good teams, including your really good Onstead team earlier in the year.
Yeah, the win over Onstead was probably our signature win of the year, if you want to put it that, but just based on the records that we have and that they have, and they're a really good team, and one that you never know if things work out. We could even play them again. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, we're 13-0 and 7-0 in our league. We've got a 2-game lead in the conference right now, which is a big deal. We've gone through a little stretch where we had to play Lakewood and Stockbridge and Leslie during a short period of time, and survived all of those games. And we have, we still have some tough ones left, including them. And Lansing Christian is having their best year in recent history. So in terms of our focus right now, it's kind of on our conference. But then again, I say that, and we have Coldwater coming in here tomorrow. They've won 6 straight after a slow start, and they're in a first place tie in their conference. So we're excited about that challenge as well.
So let's talk about, we had the starting five all on. I mean, we had them throughout the last few weeks, and it just seems like, from talking with all of them, it's just that they play really, really well together. It just kind of seems like they all fit in to the system that you're trying to build.
Yeah, that has been a pleasure to coach. They do play well together. They're very unselfish kids. Very rarely do we have to even remind them about playing the right way. They're always trying to play the right way. They were brought up, I think, during their early years by coaches that understood that part, and it got ingrained in their system. And I've had the pleasure kind of picking up at the end of their high school careers, at least. It is, the one thing I can say, it might be, I coach a long time in a lot of different teams. It's one of the best passing teams I've ever coached. And when I say that, our turnovers are now under 8 per game. And I just never had, in a lot of teams I've coached, never had that few turnovers by a team. And I should knock on wood when I say that, because obviously it could rear its ugly head, but most games were under 10. And I used to have teams where I just wanted to be under 15. And this team just takes care of the basketball. They make simple plays, but they make the right plays. And that's been a big part of our success.
Yeah. When you look at someone like, and it's not just those 5, but you also have guys that are, coming in off the bench. So basically you could go 8, 9, maybe even 10 deep for some games.
Yeah, we at least go 7 deep every game, depending on matchups. I mean, Taven Felposh and Noah Young are kind of like 6 and 7 for us, but they've started games. They could easily start. If we could start all 7 of them, we would. We've got other guys like Lucas Hopkins and Dawson Redfield who have figured in the rotation at times when we want to stretch it out a little bit. Again, matchups are a big key. And we've got some developing guys right behind them who maybe don't play a huge role this year, but will next year. So, yeah, in terms of a roster and the development of all 12 of them, we've been really pleased with that.
Yeah. So when you look at someone, when you look at the conference this year, saying that this is kind of like, as everyone goes their separate ways, as you guys go join the CAAC, I believe it's the CAAC Blue next year.
It'll be the white division.
Okay, the CAAC White, excuse me. When you go and join the White, what's that gonna, as kind of saying, goodbye to some of these teams? Obviously, I think a team is going with you. So you're going to have to get used to that. What's that going to be like for you guys as you?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about that challenge, and that is going to be, bigger schools and just, obviously going to be probably an upgrade in competition. And that's not to say anything about the GLAC, just bigger schools and better, tougher competition. And we're going to have to buckle up for that a little bit. And we're not, we're saying goodbye to the GLAC, but, we're still going to try to play Leslie in a non-league game. As long as Matt Johns will, agree to come to Olivet. I'm not sure I can. We try never to go to Leslie ever again, but I say that in jest. Stockbridge, there will still be a relationship with them in some non-league games. Perry if they want. So we're still going to connect with these schools, Lansing Christian as well, et cetera. It's just going to be more of a non-league deal. And we're trying to get three of our GLAC brothers and sisters, to find a conference. Stockbridge and Perry and Lansing Christian are still without a league next year. So hopefully things work out for them. But all those relationships will still be there. But in the same breath, very excited about the new league.
Yeah. It just seems like a lot of people are, paying attention to seeing what Bo can do on the basketball court. We know what he can do in the football field too. But what kind of athlete is he?
Well, he's a unique athlete in that, he's probably quicker than he is fast. But his combination of just, balance and strength, like he's really strong. If you put him in the weight room, he can lift weights with most linemen. Extremely strong, stronger than most kids that are guarding him. He's very calculated in terms of, how he plays. He's really composed, but he's shifty and he's hard to keep in front, even though, like I said, I don't know that he's going to run a 4.40 or anything like that. He's not slow by any means, but he's just, he's not that type of speed. He's a college basketball player if he wants to be. And I don't know. I think football might be his first love, and that's probably where he'd prefer at the college level. But if he decides to look at basketball a little harder, or if he got some interest from people, there's no doubt in my mind he could be a really good NAIA or D3 basketball player. And in the right D2 spot, if he continues to develop as a player, I think he would be fine there as well. But that remains to be seen.
Speaking of football, obviously there was an announcement regarding that. A former familiar face is back at the head coaching spot.
Yeah, Gabe Pretty, his first year as a varsity coach was my first year as an AD. So that would have been, the fall of 2013. And he was our head coach for 7 years. And he was gone for a couple of years. He came back last year as an assistant, because when Gabe left, the staff that he had built pretty much stayed intact. Brock Peters just moved from offensive coordinator to head coach and offensive coordinator. Gabe returned last year as an assistant coach and a position coach. And then this coming year, now Brock is going to step back down and hopefully be an assistant again. His life is going to take a change here in terms of his career. But Gabe now is back as our head coach, and we're excited to have him for sure. A very experienced coach and a very good for the Olivet community and our kids.
Yeah, so kind of just talk about the next few games coming up for you guys. What do you guys got this week? Yeah,
Coldwater tomorrow, and even though it's a non-league game, it's a big focus of ours because one, they're a quality opponent. We want to, it's a good challenge for us to measure kind of where we are, and they're different. They've got a big kid, they've got some young, talented guards, so it's a like I said, a big game for us, one that will test us. And then we return to, a league play with Valley and Perry and Lansing Christian, those 3 in a row. So games, a couple of them on the road. We played more home games this year than away games. That's called good scheduling by the athletic director, an old man that doesn't want to get on a bus as much. So anytime we can play at home, we try to. I did a good job doing that this year, but of course that means we probably have to go on the road a little bit more next year. But so it's just, like I said, Coldwater is a little sideshow, but one that we're going to take seriously, and then we're back to league play.
All right. Well, Matt Seidl, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck against Coldwater.
Appreciate it. Anytime, Casey.